Okay, this is a practice video to help you through free response 7 on the AP Music Theory exam, the figured bass. And so at various moments in the video, I'll ask you to pause and try to do the tasks, and then we'll come back together and see if you did them right, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay? So this is realizing a figured bass in 4 voices following traditional 18th century voice leading procedures. That's what we've been learning all year. It says continue logically from the first chord. Do not add embellishments unless indicated by the figured bass. And then in the space below each chord, supply the Roman numeral for the chord, and they give you the key. Okay? So right off the bat, we need to spell our chords. So go ahead and pause the video and spell the chords up above. Make a matrix of the chords like I've taught you in class, and then come back and you can see if you did it right. Okay, so logically from the very beginning, okay, this is in C minor. So we are going to remember that in C minor we need to raise the leading tone. And the leading tone for C minor is a B natural. Okay, so now this first chord looks like a C, E flat, G. Remember our C scale, our Roman numerals for our C scale. Let's see, C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B natural for your leading tone. And minor Roman numerals, we got a minor 1 chord, a diminished 2 chord, a major 3 chord, a minor 4 chord, a dominant or a major 5 chord, a major 6 chord, and a diminished 7 chord, and that's usually in first inversion. Okay, so we've got the root as C, and so that's a 1. Okay, now 6, 4. Well, 6, 4 means there's a sixth and a fourth above the bass. So if we have a D, a fourth above the bass, do it on your fingers. D, E, F, G, and then a 6. D, E, F, G, A, B, and that slash means we raise that, and so that's going to a B natural. Now, D, G, B natural, well, a 6, 4 also means that the fifth of the chord is in the bass, and so that's a G, B, D chord. The Roman numeral comes from the root, so that's going to be a 5, 6, 4. And look, it's a passing 6, 4, right? It's on a weak beat. It's got a scale-wise motion. Remember our 6, 4 chord types. Okay. Now, 6, well, this means it's a first inversion triad, so we could think, okay, if that's the E, we can go down and find the root, which would be C. It's also May in the bass. May in the bass equals 1, 6. Or we could think, okay, we got to go up 6 from E. So E, F, G, A, B, C. So this chord has an E flat in it. It's got a C in it. And then there's like a missing third right here. It's kind of shorthand for figured bass. They don't even put it in there. And so a third above a third above E would be a G. So C, E flat, G, and that's a 1 chord. Okay? Now, 6, 5. 6, 5 is a 7th chord bass position symbol, or a 7th chord figured bass. And what that means is that the bass note, which is an F, is the third of the chord. 2 ways we could do this. We could go down, since there's not any slashes or pluses or raised or anything. We could go down and find down a third and find the root, which is going to be a D. Or we can just do the intervals above the bass. That's what figured bass means. So F is the bass, so go up 5 first. F, G, A, B, C. And then F, G, A, B, C, D. And there's our D, that's the 6th. And for the full figured bass, there's a missing third right there, so F, G, A. Okay, so those are the chord tones, F, D, C, A. And we have to think about, we got to unscramble that based on our chord wheel. Remember our chord wheel that I taught you over here, A, C, E, G, B, D, F. And so let's see, is F the root? F, A, C, E, there's no E. Is D the root? D, F, A, C. So D is the root, and we look, that's a half diminished 2 chord. Remember the 2 chord in minor is half diminished. If you can't remember that, you can just analyze the chord. A D to an F is a minor third. A D to, remember this is A flat, right? So a D to A flat would be a diminished fifth. And then a D to an F natural, okay, would be a minor seventh. And so minor third diminished fifth and minor seventh equals a half diminished seventh chord. Okay, so 2 half diminished 7. Okay, let's keep going here. This makes it easy. When there's 3 figures, when there's 3 numbers, then you just can write above the bass. Okay, so a G is in the bass. Now a 4 above G, do it on your fingers. G, A, B, C. A 6 above G, G, A, B, C, D, E. And an 8 above G. Well, that's an octave, right? So that's just another G. Okay? So G, C, E. G, C, E. Well, that sounds like it's a C, E, G chord, right? And that's a 1 chord. And that would be a 1, 6, 4. So that would be a cadential 6/4, right? Now these dashes are really going to make this part writing easy for us if we know what to do with that. But this next chord right here, we've got a third above the bass. So we still have a G, a 3 above G, G, A, B, and it's got a natural on it, so B natural. And G, A, B, C, D, and then G, A, B, C, D, E, F. So G, B, D, F. So T, Re, Fa. So that is a 5/7 chord. Okay. Now this last figure is tricky. This indicates a suspension. Okay. So a suspension means, now remember, if it's a natural by itself, it goes to the third. So this chord's, wherever we voice the fourth, it's going to go to the third. So this is a C chord. A fourth above C is C, D, E, F. And that fourth is going to go to the third, C, D, E, which is an E. And it's got a natural. That's a Picardy third. So F to E natural. And then the fifth would be a G. Okay, so C, E, G, that's a suspension. Okay. All right, now go ahead and pause the video and see if you can work through the part writing, and then we'll come back and see if your part writing matched mine. It doesn't necessarily have to match, but I'll talk you through the part writing as I would do it if I were taking the test. Okay, so it says continue logically from the spacing of the first chord. What that means is common tone step and contrary motion nearest. Okay, so common tone step. Let's look and see between the 1 and the 5, are there any common tones? And there are. A G is the common tone, so let's keep our G. Okay. Now, let's take our inventory as we're doing this. We've got a D. We got a G. Now remember, in a 6/4 chord, all 6/4 chords, you need to double the bass, or you need to double the fifth. That's the bass. And so let's see, we've got to get another D in here, right? And we got to get a B natural. Okay? Now I would probably, since that goes up, I would go to the B natural there. Remember, we got to raise our leading tone. And then I would probably go to the D there. And that way we have doubled our D and we have a B natural there. If you went to the B natural in the soprano, you would be skipping that chord tone, which probably you could get away with, but then you would have to go up to the D here, and that would be parallel octaves, right? So that's the only really solution. Okay. Now when you write a leading tone, just go ahead and resolve it back to tonic before you do anything else. Okay. So C, B, C, that's do, T, do. Okay. C, E. Now is there any common tones between the 5 and the 1? Well, the G is still the common tone. So let's keep that common tone. C, E, G. Now check this out. If we go back to where we came from, go back to the E, then we've written parallel octaves with our bass, right? D to E, D to E. So we can't do that. So I would come down to the C right there. Remember, contrary motion to the bass when possible. Okay? I think so far we've got a 5 on the exam. Okay, let's see if we can keep this up. All right, now C, E, G, D, F, A, C. So the common tone is C. So let's keep our common tone. Okay. Now, this is a root movement of a second. It goes up. So let's see if we can go down to the nearest chord tone. Okay. Now, if we took this G down to F, we would be doubling the F. Let's take our inventory here. We've got a C and we've got an F. We need a D and we need an A flat. Okay. Now, E, let's see. This could come down to D, D, F, and that could come down to A, but that gets a little leapy for my taste. If we went E, G, E, F, G, that would be a third. So if we went to the A flat there, G to A flat, that would be parallel thirds, and that would be okay. Let's check the other voice. E, F, G, A, B, C. So if we went C to D, that would be parallel sixth. So parallel thirds and parallel sixths are okay. We're constantly checking spacing too, right? Making sure that we're spaced everything out. All right, now we have written a seventh here. Sevenths go down by step. That's what they do. So the seventh, D, F, A, C. The C has to go down by a step. Okay? So let's see. Now let's see how we can make this happen. C, E, G. Well, it'll eventually go down by step over here, right? But we're keeping that C like that. That's a common tone, right? C. We need a G and we need an E. Okay, a G and an E. So if we go F, G, A, B, C, D, if we take the E up here and we take the G right there, I think that's going to work. Let's check for our parallel motion. So that stays the same, that's oblique motion. F to G, and that goes opposite direction. So the only parallel motion we have is between the bass and the soprano. F, G, A, B, C, D, that's parallel sixth. Parallel sixths are okay. Okay. Now, so this is where these lines come in beautifully. Okay. What the lines mean is that the 4 goes to the 3, the 6 goes to the 5, the 8 goes to the 7. Okay. So where is our 4? Let's see, G, A, B, C. Here's our 4, and it's going to go to the 3, which is G, A, B natural. So the 4 went to the 3. Where is our 6 here? G, A, B, C, D, E. Our 6th is way up here. It doesn't have to be in this order. Okay? It just has to be above the bass. So G, A, B, C, D, E. So our 6 is going to go to our 5, G, A, B, C, D, like that. Okay? And then our 8 is going to go to our 7. So our 8 is the G, right? G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And that's going to go to the 7, which is G, B, D, F, like this. Okay? So octave goes to the 7th. Now check this out. Remember the 7th over here from this D, F, A, C chord? See, it eventually did go down. It kind of suspended and then went down. Okay, so far so good. All right, now let's get into the cadence here. Let's get into the last part. So one thing about suspensions. Suspension is a non-chord tone on a strong beat, and it has always got 3 parts. It's got a preparation, a suspension, and a resolution. And so the preparation and the suspension need to be the same note, and then the resolution needs to be a step down. Okay? So now wherever this 4 is, whatever voice it's in, we need to keep it the common tone, right? So the suspension is C, D, E, F, a 4. So our F is in our tenor part. So we're going to suspend that. That's the preparation, suspension, and then we're going to come down to the resolution. And the resolution is a natural by itself, which refers to the third. So that's going to be the suspension. Now the rest of the chord is just, regular part writing. For example, this is a leading tone. So we're going to resolve our leading tone up. So far we have C, C, F, and E, right? C, C, F, E. We need a G, or we can maybe leave out the G, and we could triple our root, and that would be perfectly fine. Remember, when you do a dominant seventh chord, you're often going to come up with an incomplete one chord. Okay, so G, B, D, F, C, C, E. Now check this out. If we went to the G, if we were just dying to complete this one chord, we would have, let's see, G to D, G, B, D. There's a fifth between the soprano and the bass, moving to a C, E, G. So that would be parallel fifths. That's bad. If we went up to the G, well, that's even worse because we've got a spacing error. So really the only note this could go to is the C. And that's another one of these things, is you have to do an incomplete one chord when you resolve a dominant seven. We've got C, 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 E, and we left out our G. Now, this is an incredibly strong answer. This, I don't think there are any part writing errors in this whole thing. We've got all of our Roman numerals done, and I think it would get you a 5 on the exam. Okay, so I would refer to this a lot. This is a particularly difficult question 5. 2014 had a really difficult question 5. Thank you.